I need a boyfriend. The words slipped out quietly, almost like a joke, but they carried more weight than she realized. Maya stood in the spacious penthouse kitchen, wiping down the marble counter after another long day. The city lights outside the floor-to-ceiling windows glowed softly, reflecting off surfaces she would never own but cleaned every single day. She thought she was alone. She always thought she was alone at this hour. She wasn't. Ethan Reynolds had just stepped out of his home office when he heard her voice. He froze mid-step, one hand still on his phone, the other loosening his tie. He hadn't meant to eavesdrop. He hadn't even realized anyone was still there. I need a boyfriend, Maya continued, speaking to no one in particular, maybe to the silence, maybe to herself. Not even for love. Just someone to sit next to me sometimes. Ethan didn't move. For a man who negotiated billion-dollar deals without blinking, the raw honesty in her voice hit harder than any boardroom confrontation. Maya sighed and leaned against the counter. Everyone thinks being independent means you don't get lonely. But nights are long when you're always alone. Ethan cleared his throat before he could stop himself. Maya jumped. I'm sorry, sir. I thought you'd already left. It's fine, he said quickly. I was just working late. An awkward silence followed. Maya lowered her eyes, embarrassed that her private thoughts had been overheard by her employer, one of the wealthiest men in the city. I'll finish up and go, she said softly. Wait, Ethan said, surprising both of them. She looked up, confused. He searched for the right words, something professional, something appropriate. Instead, what came out was unexpected. How long have you worked here? Almost 2 years, Maya replied. And in all that time, he asked, has anyone ever really talked to you? She hesitated. I talk to people all day. Just not about things that matter. Ethan nodded slowly. That answer lingered with him long after she left that night. He didn't sleep much. The next morning, he noticed her more than he ever had before. Not her uniform, not her efficiency, but the way she moved quietly, how she avoided attention, how she seemed to shrink herself in rooms too big for her presence. At lunch, he made a decision that surprised even him. Maya, he said, standing in the kitchen doorway, would you sit with me for a moment? Her eyes widened. Is something wrong? No, he said gently. Nothing's wrong. They sat at the long dining table, an ocean of empty chairs between them. For the first time since she started working there, they spoke, not as employer and maid, but as two people sharing space. She told him about her childhood, growing up in a small town, moving to the city with big dreams that slowly turned into survival. He told her very little, but he listened, really listened. That became their routine. Short conversations, shared coffee, quiet understanding. Ethan didn't know when his curiosity turned into care, or when care turned into something deeper. He only knew that the penthouse no longer felt empty when Maya was there. One evening, as rain streaked down the windows, he made a decision that would change everything. Maya, he said carefully, can I ask you something unusual? She tensed. Of course. I heard what you said that night, he admitted. About needing a boyfriend. Her face flushed. I didn't mean. I know, he interrupted gently. But what if we helped each other? She stared at him. I don't understand. My family, he continued, is pressuring me to settle down. They're convinced I'm emotionally incapable of commitment. A small, humorless smile crossed his face. They want proof otherwise. Maya's heart pounded. And you think I can help with that? I do, he said. I'm not asking for anything inappropriate. Just pretend. Public appearances, dinners, events. In return, I'll make sure you're taken care of. Financially, professionally. The room felt smaller. You want me to pretend to be your girlfriend? She asked. Yes. Maya stood abruptly. I can't. That's not why I said what I said. Ethan stood as well. I know. That's why I'm asking honestly. She left that night confused, angry, and restless. But days passed, and life reminded her how expensive loneliness could be. Rent was overdue. Her mother needed medical help. And beyond all that, there was Ethan. Kind, patient, different from what his wealth suggested. She agreed, with conditions. No lies between us, she said firmly. No control. And the moment this hurts either of us, it ends. Ethan nodded. Agreed. What started as an arrangement slowly became something real. Dinners turned into laughter. Events into shared glances. The world saw a billionaire and his girlfriend. They saw two people learning how to trust. But reality doesn't stay quiet forever. Rumors spread. Gossip reached the staff. One night, Maya overheard people calling her a gold digger. She went home in tears. The next day, she resigned. Ethan found her packing. "Why didn't you tell me?" he asked. "I didn't want to be a problem," she said. "I was never meant to belong in your world." He stepped closer. "You don't belong in my world," he said softly. "I belong in yours." She looked at him, shocked. "For the first time," he continued, "someone saw me without my money. Without expectations. I don't want to pretend anymore." Silence hung between them. "I need you," Ethan said. "Not as an arrangement. As my choice." Maya's voice trembled. "And if the money disappeared tomorrow, I'd still choose you." She stayed. Not because he was rich, but because he was honest. Months later, they walked through the city hand in hand. No secrets, no roles to play. And the words that once echoed alone in a quiet kitchen had changed two lives forever. "I need a boyfriend. Sometimes, the universe listens."